Hmm. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Waller's Wallet. Thank you for tuning in to this YouTube live. Where tonight we're going to take a look at my Citi theory, which now looks to have possibly backfired on Citi, and how American Express made a great time move, I think, to make Citi look pretty silly. Now, I'll also be doing some Q&A at the end of this, which I do typically every month. Be sure to ask your questions. That's really why I do these lives, to interact with all of you, because I love answering your questions in real time. But if you are new to this channel is all about credit cards, credit card rewards, and showing how you can use your points and miles to travel for less. So if something that interests you, consider subscribing and turn that bell notification on as well. Also, if you're watching live, consider giving the video a thumbs up. It does help the channel out. It brings more people in here as well, which is always great. Now, if you remember a few months back, Citi made that announcement that they were pretty much slashing a going out of business sale on all of their cards, which included their top end cards like the Premier and the Prestige. And those effects went into effect the other day. And it was at that time, when they made this announcement, I think other people thought as well, basically Citi was just giving up, throwing in the towel, calling it quits on pretty much being a competitor to Chase and American Express. But then they throw us this curveball and have the double cash. They make this improvement to the double cash that basically makes it one of the best non-bonus cards on the market. And I did a video on it the other day saying it was a game changer, and I still stand by that. But the lack of benefits really hurt them. But being able to move your double cash from cashback to thank you points at a 1-to-1 ratio pretty much made this one of the best non-bonus cards on the market. And I think Citi strategically placed that, or had that start, the day the benefits were cut from all of their cards, pretty much to reduce any negative publicity, which I actually think that kind of worked, because it was a few days later people were talking about it. I did my video on the double cash a few days before. Shufu did one the day of, talking about, I think it was the Citi trifecta. I think it was. So people weren't really focusing on the lack of benefits being, or the benefits being cut. They were looking at the new being the ability to move from double cash to points, which was huge. But ever since that happened, where they were announcing the rumors, I kept trying to think, why was Citi doing this? You're cutting benefits. You're basically one step out of the pool, but now you're going to make this great change. And I kept coming down to the fact, I think Citi was banking on the fact, here's my theory. Citi was banking on the fact you were willing to overlook the lack of benefits for higher earning rates and more opportunities to earn your points. Because now with the double cash basically being a 2x card, your non-bonus spend is now increasing. You're earning your points twice as fast, because you could possibly be using the card like the Rewards Plus, but it's only good for small purchases. And I think that's because so many people focus on the earning rates and not necessarily the benefits. I think a good example is, I asked a question in the community tab, and I usually ask questions for a reason or something that makes me think, if you would prefer better earning rates or better benefits. Now, those of you who answered was just about 300 people. 70% of you who did answer that said you wanted better earning rates. So it shows that you would prefer to use a card, we'll say like the Prestige with no benefits or fewer benefits, for the higher earning rate, which, I can understand that from people, because people want more points and they might be willing to give up some of those protections, for those higher earning rates, because you don't want that fear of missing out on points, because the more points you earn, the next free trip you can have, which sounds way better than having trip delay coverage, which you might not ever use, although I think that is important. And even today, it was the other day, 2 or 3 days ago, I asked about cell phone protection and which card would you use? And it was actually pretty well distributed. About 1/3 of you would use a card that had better earning rates, either the Chase Ink Cash or even a card like the US Bank Cash Plus, which you could get 5% back, but offered you no protections. About a third of you did the Chase Ink Preferred, which is kind of mixed, because you get slightly better earning rates, but the cell phone protection deductible is much higher than some of the other options. And then the other third of you had roughly some mixed answers. Some of you using any World Elite MasterCard, which is a great option, or World MasterCard. Some of you used cards like the Chase Freedom Unlimited as well. So there are some opportunities there, for people to earn the reward. So it was kind of well distributed. And then, I think from Citi's angle, sorry, but I think that Citi's angle here was basically follow along currently with what American Express is doing, for those better earning rates because, people are booking travel on their platinum card right now, the business platinum, they're using those opportunities and foregoing the travel protections. That's what Citi, I think, was banking on. And then it backfires on Citi a couple days after their changes go into effect, that American Express announces they're going to be offering travel protections on their cards starting in 2020, which I think this was actually a big blow to Citi and what I think they were going for. Now, I'm going to wait until American Express actually releases the information on this. I think is on October 1st. There's a couple of things in there I'm kind of wondering if they clear up in language, which I haven't seen anywhere else. That round trip language kind of throws me off. I'm hoping, like, if it's an open jaw, like what do they mean by round trip? Can I book 2 one-ways? Like, what's the deal there? So I'm kind of waiting for that to kind of settle. I know I've seen some stuff out there, but I'm going to wait before I do a video on that because I'd like to have my video be accurate, or just correct. So, but while the Prestige has some things going for it, now it has the big glaring issue that the Platinum card has always had of no protections, which I've always said on the Platinum card, for a card that is that expensive, it coming in almost $500, is ridiculous. It's just basically swap spots with the Platinum card starting in 2020. Currently, you could flip-flop between them. You could make a case which card is better. They both have some things going for it. But I'm not sure people can justify the 5x earning rate on a card to keep it. Because if American Express hadn't been adding these protections, you could make that argument, but no longer in 2020 can you, because the gold card is going to get some travel protections. I think it kicks in after 12 hours instead of 6 hours, but it earns 4x worldwide. Now, I've always had my issues with American Express in the sense that it's not as widely accepted, but even domestically, if you're dining out domestically, 4x MR is really good, while 5x thank you points it might be better. Most people might get Citi thank you point partners, I think, are really valuable, but they're going to be harder for a lot of people to use because I think a lot of people, while we focus on earning rates, I think fewer people even focus on the redemption side, which I do think is very important. Because what we're seeing here is, Citi, what I think we're going to see is Citi possibly add these back on in the future because it's a big miss for them. And I think they're going to see people canceling this card or not opening it and opting for a reserve or the platinum card just because of those protections across the board. And while, we can say the reserve needs to be refreshed at 3x, it doesn't cut it anymore. Earning 3x on all travel as opposed to just airfare or something, earning 3x on dining while still getting those travel protections, some people, possibly even myself, would prefer that over 5x just on airfare and dining. So, and the thing is, Citi doesn't have that ecosystem like Chase or American Express does, nor are their partners really the easiest for people to use. They offer a lot of value, but they're not as straightforward. And I think I get a lot of people asking, like, they're using, Delta Sky Miles. So, they're not using these partner alliances as much as they could be because they are difficult to learn. And with this change, I think Citi's going to have a hard time really putting those travel expenses on their card. I've already seen Twitter, the different forums, like people are going to be switching from their Prestige to their Platinum card in 2020 because it's 5x and you get the travel protections. There are some quirks potentially with it, but still you get the travel protection. So my theory on them really came down to like the psychological effect of people really worried that they're missing out on points. I mean, I have a bunch of cards that I use on the day-to-day so that I can maximize my points. And sometimes maybe I spread myself too thin, just like some of these other people do. But, we want to make sure we're earning the points that set us up for the next trip. And, it's just what I think is what they were doing. They're banking on that. But then American Express comes in, well-timed, well-played American Express. I'm going to give you the slow clap on that one because that was fantastically timed. Now we're talking about the Platinum card, the Gold card, even the Aspire card, getting these protections. Well, Citi just dropped theirs. That is fantastic. And I think that move for Citi truly backfired. I don't think anyone was expecting that because we've pretty much been saying for years American Express needed this and they've never done it. So I think we were just kind of going with the idea that they were just never going to do it because, hey, they're American Express. But now they'll put Citi back in a bind. The smaller ecosystem, fewer transfer partners, as a whole, and I was reading something today. I'm going to chalk this up as a rumor, something that's been verified yet, but like the Turkish loophole to Hawaii, someone I was reading on, I think it was Miles to Memories, was talking about that they weren't able to book it via phone. While they could show it was bookable, the agent wasn't able to book it. And while they were looking online, it was no longer bookable, that they could find stuff bookable online. So if that Turkish loophole is closed, which I had made a comment that I think it was going to close soon after the double cash, or like I thought the reward chart was going to change, not necessarily this was going to happen. But if that Turkish loophole changes, that hurts them in the sense of that Hawaii benefit as well. So you just let me know what you think of my theory. Are you someone who though forgoes those travel protections for better earning rates? Just by the numbers you guys gave me, a lot of you do. All right, I think I got some questions. Let's take a look. First, I had a question from Alberto. I'll get to his first. He left a comment on the cell phone protection question. He has the REI World Elite MasterCard. I think it says, World Elite MasterCard. He was wondering, because there's actually something down there in the terms and conditions about it. Could it be secondary? If you have personal insurance, it says that you're supposed to go through your insurance company first, Alberto, and then go ahead and put it to your credit card company. But it also says that on my Uber card, and I can tell you I've used the Uber card cell phone protection straight through, didn't have to file anything else. So while it says that, if you have it, I guess you could do that. But there's nothing they're saying you have to do that. You can just file straight with your credit card company. You're going to get that up to what I think it says up to $800 for yours because it's World Elite MasterCard. So no need to file it with like your homeowner's insurance. You can file it straight through the World Elite MasterCard benefit, as long as you're paying your cell phone with that card. But pretty much any World Elite MasterCard is going to have that eligibility. And World MasterCard gives you up to $600 in cell phone protection. All right, let's see what I got for questions. Ask your questions down below. This is where this is the fun stuff for me. This is where I get to enjoy my time answering your questions. All right. Regretted not doing Brussels. I was talking to Ross beforehand. I'm going to Amsterdam and Brussels next week. I know we just got back from London and Scotland, but the way it worked out, we're going back over to Europe, leaving next Friday. Let me see. Do you think the Amtrak card is worth a 524 slot? I got the IHG and Hyatt card left before exiting. Ross, I don't necessarily think it's worth a 524 slot. I think that it's a good card if you're someone who uses Amtrak. The bonus is good. But I don't know if I'd burn a 524 slot for the Amtrak card. You might be able to get that after. I mean, I would assume you'd be able to get that afterwards. It's not worth it for me for only 40,000 points. Although those are valuable for Amtrak, I just don't think that's worth burning a 524 slot for. Let's see. What's up, Brian? How you doing tonight, man? Do you think the Chase Freedom limit will match the double cash 2x now? That is a great question, Brian. I think Chase has to do something with their setup because even without travel protections, the double cash in the Citi Premier, that's 2.5% back through their travel portal, which is better than the Chase, the Reserve and the Freedom Unlimited. I think we'll see Chase do something. I'm not sure if it'll be with the Freedom Unlimited offering 2x though. It would be great to see, but I'm not necessarily sure if that's going to be the case. I think it might be more along the lines of something with the Reserve. I don't know why, but I feel like why would they give you they want you to pay into the card? So I think it might be something more on the Reserve side. There was that rumor about 1.75 cents per point with the Reserve, which would make you want to hold the card, pay the annual fee, and it would keep the 1.5 points per dollar. We'll have to see, though. I think Chase does need to do something, though, about that card. Let's see. I hate how YouTube makes the comments float around. I'd rather have benefits, Giovanni. Me too. I put my card currently. I still haven't switched it over yet. It's still on my Uber card, but I plan to switch it over to my double cash just for the benefits. I mean, sure, I'm going to forego some benefits or from earning rates, but when I was riding a Lime scooter in Paris, I was on the cobblestone and my cell phone went up and smashed in the cobblestone, and I had to come home and get it repaired. Like, it's worth it for me because I use my cell phone every day. I travel a handful of times a year, so I'm more likely to break my cell phone on the day-to-day than I am to possibly get delayed. And over our travel over the last 5 years, we've only had our flight delayed twice, or we're potentially where I would need to use the benefit twice. So it's not a handful of time. It's not as frequently used for me as some of my other benefits. Yeah. All right. Do you How do you like live chat on a mobile phone? Um, Ross, I've done YouTube lives on the phone before. It's not any different for me as doing them on the computer. It's just easier with my setup because like I'll have my notes here in front of me on the computer. But with the phone, I can still see all your comments, and my camera quality is probably better on my cell phone than the Logitech I use. But it's easier when I'm on the road to when I'm traveling to do a YouTube live with that as opposed to necessarily my computer. Let's see. Abel says, "I love points." I think we all do, Abel. That's why we do this stuff. And we're willing to, forego do some of these crazy things to earn these extra points. And sometimes that's, if you want to earn points, sometimes you have to forego benefits. It's kind of the trade-off for people. And I think at CardCon last year, I didn't get to go this year because we were traveling. Last year when I went, there was kind of the concerns for the bank was that they were kind of hitting that tipping point of what they could truly offer for earning rates and kind of have that and still make money on their part. So they were looking to offer. Let's see. Thank you. I'm gonna stop. Hold on. Stop real fast. Thank you. How to get an 800 credit score. Thanks for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, man. Let me forgot what I was saying now. Let's see. I forgot what I was saying about points, but I totally lost my train of thought. I apologize. So with the points, yeah. So with we forgo those, and I forgot my train of thought. Let's see. Question: going to do a Boston area meetup at some point? Ross, I think that would be actually pretty fun to do next time I'm down in Boston to have a point meetup. I'm not too far from the area. I mean, I'm what 4 or 5 hours, like 4 hours away. So next time I'm in Boston for an overnight or something, I'll try to do a points meetup there. I think it'd be fun to do more of these with people and kind of meet all of you. So Abel says the Prestige is awesome, 5 times the points. I agree at 5 times the points for dining and 5 times the points for airfare. And it just depends on what ecosystem you want. If you don't know how to utilize the Prestige's transfer partners, it's going to be really hard. You're only getting 1 cent per point out through the travel portal, which is really crappy if you ask me. But if you don't know how to use them, then it's really hard. So you definitely want to know how to use those programs. They have some good ones that overlap with other programs. So they're good, but for someone, they might be willing to look more into the Chase ecosystem because it's easier, or American Express because they just have more partners overall. Let's see. Kay says, I would make a move from the reserve to the platinum, but I'm not a fan of the airline Uber credits. I don't have any room in my point to life to do commonly international travel as well. I think that's a common concern for a lot of people. And, I think that's something I wish American Express would address is that like allowance style. What are you, like 7 years old getting allowance to use their credits? Like it's an expensive card. I know a lot of people will probably disagree people might disagree, but like it is overvalued in the sense, even with travel protection, because with the travel protection, it's great. I shouldn't say overrated, but like they make it so difficult for you to use their credits that like at $550, I'm still not sure if it's worth the $550 a year for how difficult it is to use those credits. And like some of those credits are just fillers. Like the Saks Fifth Ave, like that. I feel like that's a filler for paper, but for many people, they might just not use it on the day to day. But if they could change that airline credit to be a travel credit, it would completely change a lot of people's opinions. And I would think people would be willing to live with the Uber credits at the allowance style if you could have a travel credit as opposed to just a airline credit, which is just harder to use, especially with the gift card loophole being closed now. Let's see. The PenFed Pathfinder has a 6-hour trip delay. That's really awesome. The Pathfinder card is on my list of cards to review, Teru. And I think that's a pretty solid benefit. There's some really good cards out there that are lesser talked about that have good protections, and that might be one of them. Let's see. Scott says Platinum still needs a little work, but this was a step in the right direction. I agree, Scott. This is a good step in the right direction for American Express. There's some work I'd like to see them do, but we'll take the wins we can get them. I know some people were upset that they got rid of was it roadside assistance, or they're reducing it. For me, that's not a big deal. I know for some people who it is, but I don't think it's necessarily that big of a deal. I would rather have trip protections to begin with. Let's see, Roth, City. Do you know City inquiry sensitive? Thinking about mid game, Barclay, Bank of America, U.S. Bank. I can say from experience, I was pretty heavy on inquiries. I don't think they're not as inquiry sensitive as like U.S. Bank or Barclay. Not by any stretch, in my experience. Bank of America, they're difficult in the sense that you have to have a banking relationship with them. Although I think they just recently rolled out some new application rules as well. I haven't really looked into those right now, but I will be looking into them. But American Express is definitely, I think, one of the easier banks, and I think Citi would be right behind them. Let's see. Evan says, what are you doing here? YouTube, stop doing that. What are you doing to me? Let's see. Evan says Chase Sapphire Reserve is definitely the easiest to get good value out of the whole Chase ecosystem. Evan, I agree. I think the Chase ecosystem for a lot of people is really good. For people because it's simplistic. It's not, you have partners like Hyatt, which give you great value. You have United. I know some people like the Southwest as well, but that's kind of where I think it stops on the train for them. I think if you're someone who utilizes transfer partners more frequently, you might get more, you will get more value, I would say, out of American Express than over Chase, because Chase just if I stand by the fact, if Hyatt ever left Chase, they would have quite the issue for people to use it, because United is great, but they're not that great to where you'd want to stick with them. You can use Avianca. You can use, ANA round trip business class. If you're a business class flight, 88,000 points over to Europe. Like they just have, Virgin Atlantic ANA to Asia. You know what I mean? So there's lots of opportunities. I would like to see Chase add some better partners to their portfolio, but it's definitely they're definitely the easiest for people without a doubt. What's up, Icarus? How you doing, man? All right, let's see. Always with the good comments, Icarus. I love them. Let's see. After 524, what would be your most optimal bank path? Ross, I think it just depends on your goals. Because when I say that is, I think American Express is great for people. Their point system is really, you can earn a lot of points. They have a lot of value. Them and Citi offer those transfer bonuses to where you get more you get better value out of them. But American Express will probably be more generous later on in the game for you, as opposed to someone like Barclays or US Bank. So if you're wanting to get a Barclay card, we could say either like the Wyndham card or maybe the Aviator Red. I'd probably start there because they're more inquiry sensitive. And I would look to go maybe to Citi and American Express later on down the road if you don't have any plans any immediate plans. If you are someone though who's looking to kind of bulk up some points for maximum business class travel, American Express is good. Now, I'm a big fan of the Altitude Reserve just because it's done so well for me. I mean, I'm already back up to like 28,000 points in just a couple of months just from all my mobile wallet purchases. So it's just so easy to earn those rewards, and I'll get another ticket out of them here in a couple months. Let's see. Alberto, I don't get the Chase Sapphire Reserve concept of an effective annual fee of $150. I pay $450, then charge $300 in travel, and I get it back, and I'm still paying $450. Maybe simple to others, but what's with that mindset? Alberto, that is my constant issue with people thinking about travel credits and airline credits and other credits. You are still paying the bank. I think I did a video on it where basically it was like you're basically shifting your spend. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're still paying. I think what people look at it is a sense of, I was already going to pay for my travel. I was going to buy, an Airbnb or pay for my airfare. So I'm shifting it. So effectively, I was already going to spend that money. So it's effectively only costing me an extra $150 from that $300 I was already going to spend. I don't look at it that it's only $150 out of pocket, because still $450 left my account. Then Chase gives me back $300 when I meet the requirements, which are super easy. But you still have to meet those requirements. So it's still a $450 card. You're just shifting your spending. If you're someone, I remember when the Reserve came out, a lot of people were opening the card for that 100,000 point bonus who didn't travel. And if you didn't travel, it didn't make sense because then you were maybe looking. I saw people looking to book trips that they might not necessarily do just for that fact. So I agree. I don't have the same thought process. You and I are on the same track there. Hey, if you're here, consider that hitting that thumbs up button. It draws more people into here. I do appreciate it if you do that. Let's see, West Coast. Let's see, Agent West Coast says, you laughed when I said I would like to keep my Amex and hope they had a trip cancellation. My hopes came true. Agent West, you are correct. I laughed at that because I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I think it's great they're adding it now. I think they need a couple things to change. One would be adding, making some of the changes of their credits a little bit easier, but worldwide acceptance would be great. If that's the case, it'd be super awesome. But you were right. I did laugh at you about that. And I was wrong. They added it. I'm happy they added it. Like, it's always great when we get better benefits from the banks and anyone involved. So you're right, man. You were right. All right, let's see. Casey says, I'm really thinking about getting the altitude reserve. I can't get a banking relationship with no branches in Boston. Casey, I don't have any banks up here in Bangor. What I ended up doing might not be the way you want to do this. I opened up a credit card with them. I opened up a FlexPerk card, and then afterwards I went for the altitude reserve. And what was really great about that, I got the FlexPerk card. I got 25,000 points after a $500 spend, and you can move up to 20,000. It's up to 20,000 FlexPerk points over to your altitude reserve. So it was a really good way for me to blow up my altitude reserve points even more to get more value out of it. So something to consider as well. If you don't have that relationship with them, you can open a card with them. Or if you're traveling somewhere, New York or whatever, you can kind of go into a bank as well and open up a bank account with them. Let's see. Mark says, what's up, Mark? How you doing, man? Which card do I use for cell phone protection? Currently, I'm still paying with my Uber card. I just have been lazy and haven't switched it over to my Citi Double Cash. But it'll be my Double Cash just for that 2x, 2% or 2 thank you points per dollar. Get the great coverage for it. So it's going to be going over to my Double Cash. I think that's great. I'm probably going to be paying my mortgage with my Double Cash via plastic because I have a couple of promotions that just where it basically would be a 2% fee as opposed to that 2.5%. And I'd be getting better value when I'm eligible again for the Premier, which is in about, I think, another year, maybe 8 months. So that's an opportunity for me there to earn quite a bit of points and utilize those for some travel. Let's see. Do you know how to use the Amex Airline like Flashpoint Capital used it? If you could please explain. I don't know what Flashpoint said. Poophead, I love your name. But there is the hack of basically booking a refundable fare far in advance and then canceling it later on, and then they'll credit you back your money that way. That's one hack to do it. That's one way to do it. So some people, I can tell you that will work if you reach out to them and say, hey, I paid for, well, I might not necessarily found. It has worked for some people. The other option is to say you paid for check bags or seat upgrade. Currently, they're not checking receipts for that, which I honestly think that's going to change at some point. It's just too easy to say, hey, I booked this, I paid for check bags or seat upgrade. I want my credit, which I can tell you I've personally used to get it back on paid airfare. But I don't know. I actually don't know Flashpoint Capital's what his airline hack is. So I'll have to take a look at that. What's up, Travel Click Explore? How's it going, David? If you guys don't know, David has a channel, Travel Click Explore. If you haven't already, check out his channel, subscribe to his channel. I think you're going live here in like a half hour, David. So if you are, after this live, go check him out. He puts out some great content. Do you always have a cough or do you smoke? Icarus, I don't smoke. It's just a really dry air here in my office. So I think that's the reason why I cough. I don't cough anywhere outside of pretty much this room, but it's very dry in here, and that's probably why. Let's see. Victor says, I feel a combination of the Uber credit card, double cash, and blue cash preferred are better than the Chase trifecta. If you're someone who's looking for cash back, there's some really good opportunities out there for you, and that is a really good setup. Um, if you're someone who utilizes the flexible, like Chase points are very flexible. I know I've had issues with the travel portal and like the pricing has been different. I think I did a video on that just showing how different the prices could be. But if you're someone who travels and wants like some like good experiences, you do get better value potentially out of Chase Ultimate Reward points if you're looking for more of like that luxury travel. If you're someone who just likes to fly coach, stay at Airbnbs or maybe just budget hotels, you probably will end up getting better. I think you will probably get better value. Could potentially get better value from the from a cashback rotation. Mine is predominantly cashback. I open cards up for the big bonuses when they're there. It's pretty, it works out well for me. But I can tell you, like going back and forth to Europe, it's mostly been cashback fares I've been using. Although I did use Delta miles for this one coming up. It was a flash sale. And I got pretty good value. But a lot of my travel now has basically been using my points as cashback just because the fares have been so cheap. Let's see. Citi Double Cash versus Chase Inc. Preferred. Which is better now that the Double Cash can earn points and knowing your fee? I think for those Night Swift, I would still go with the Chase Inc. Preferred as a better overall card. One, I know it has a $95 annual fee, but you still get, while the self-protection isn't as great, you still get triple points on travel. You get, a bunch of other multipliers as well. So for me, I would still lean toward the Chase Inc. Preferred. Plus, it has that massive bonus of 80,000 points, and I think that's fantastic. But if you're someone looking for a no-fee card that has great, the double cash is now, I think, the base limit for anyone. Like that is now the floor. Like it was the floor for anyways at 2% cash back, but it's more so the floor now with that you can earn double points. It's even. I think I'll get pushback here, but for a head-to-head card, it's if you're someone who's in the cash back system for flexibility, it rivals with the Blue Business Plus. Let's see. Terrence asked, how do I deal with the need for a car seat when traveling with infant? That is a very good question, Terrence. And actually what we do is our son is still a lap infant, so I don't need to bring a car seat on the plane as of yet. But we do a lot of public transportation, especially over in Europe. It's so easy. So we don't Uber. We don't take taxis. Subways and buses and metros have been really good for us to where he's in his stroller. We can push him in that. In a couple of, in about a year and some change, we'll have to worry about that. But, we've had a difficult time if we've had to use a taxi because there's no car seat. So we have to take public transportation. But in Europe, it's been super easy for us, where I've had zero issues and no complaints whatsoever. The metros there just have been really good where we've been. Earning versus benefits. Evan, is that a video you're recommending? Earning versus benefits? That's actually a pretty good one. Once established with a personal credit card, wouldn't the best setup to be maximize credit score only to get business cards so balances don't report to personal credit report? Alberto, I think that's kind of, what are you looking for? If you're someone worried about utilization, then maybe the credit card came as something is something you should, like, you don't want to be holding balance on these cards. I don't necessarily worry about the credit score per se. If you're over 820 or even like 750, like you're doing really well. I do tell people though that you want to look beyond the bonuses. So like the big bonuses are great, but what you really want to do is also look at those long-term earning rates, because we're seeing banks really tighten up right now, like across the board. And so while you want to, like, well, it might be great to get a $500 bonus, if you don't have any long-term benefits for that, being business or personal cards, you might have a hard time later on. So while you're setting up your rotations with these cards, I definitely look at the long-term earning rates as well. But I don't necessarily to maximize the credit score. Anything over, the 700 range, you're in good shape for these cards. And I'm not necessarily, as long as your utilization is low, I tell people to stay around that 0%. I know some people say that you should have some report. I think my report's like 1 or 2%, and it's never been an issue. Let's see. Let's see. Man, YouTube has got to fix that. All right. Let's see. Icarus says, did I see Brian Jung's take on Ramsey? I'm assuming you mean David Ramsey. I didn't watch the whole video. I saw part of it. I'll probably go back and watch it. My take on David Ramsey, I don't necessarily agree with him all on credit cards. I think he works for people who can't properly utilize credit cards. If you're someone who can pay your balances off in full and earn the rewards, even cash back, sure. Are there people who can't manage their money appropriately and who have credit cards and think of it as free money? Yes, that's why we get these rewards. Like, that's people's interest is a reason why we get great credit card rewards. If there weren't interest being paid, banks aren't going to give us something to lose money on. Like, we are able to take advantage of people. We're not taking advantage of them. I guess we are in a way. We're basically rewarding ourselves. We're getting rewarded for people who can't manage their money. Be it either A, they can't manage it, or maybe they come on a hard time in their life and they have to utilize credit cards to get themselves out of that spot. Not everyone is able to afford, medical bill or something that comes up that just pops up out of nowhere. So I didn't watch the whole video. I saw a part of it. I'll probably go back and watch the rest of it at some point, though. Let's see. What's up, David? Let's see. Samuel asked, would you use the Platinum card to purchase plane tickets now that has travel protections? For me, if I had it and I was purchasing what currently looks to be a round trip ticket, then absolutely. 5 points per dollar, 5 membership reward points is really strong. I'm waiting for more information to come out because if I'm booking 2 one-ways, I'm not going to utilize that card. Right now it doesn't seem like that's not going to be able to trigger that benefit for you. But if I had the card and I was booking a round trip fare, I think it's hard to argue not to. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting more points in the reserve. I'd be out earning my altitude reserve, and I can utilize 5 points per dollar pretty well. So I think that'd be pretty awesome. Let's see. Easiest route is not always the best route. David, I would agree with you. I don't necessarily think, I agree with you on this one, but I can say I don't think a lot of people don't understand how to utilize their points. And Chase, I always tell people, Chase is like the drug that gets you in the door. You use the Chase travel portal, you make that redemption, it costs you $0 to fly on one trip, you're hooked. And then you start learning a little bit more and learning a little bit more and a little bit more. So I agree. Easiest isn't always necessarily the best, but that's also subjective for people. I have a buddy of mine who has very little interest in learning those programs and uses the travel portal, and he's happy with that. I'll go through the legwork of, searching online for hours on end to finding the best opportunity for my points. And I'm sure you will as well. Let's see. That's so true. I've been pulling points for Park Hyatt. I'd be crying if they left Chase. Yes, that would be really sad. Let's see. What are my favorite Citi transfer partners? I think, Asia Miles are really good. I like, Avianca is another good one. Etihad is great. And I would think airline transfer wise, feel free to disagree with me. Airline transfer wise, Citi airline partners are better than Chase's partners. In all there's, Turkey, there's some good spots in all. I think even EVA or EVA Airlines has certain sweet spots in there that I've read about before. There's just good opportunities in there. It's just how much are you willing to dig into them? But those are kind of my big ones. Etihad is great. Avianca is really solid. And then what else would I say? Flying Blue, Virgin Atlantic, those overlap with other programs. There's a lot of value. The Asia Miles is really good as well. Let's see, Shamrock. What's up, Shamrock? How's it going? I did talk about my Shamrock. I did talk about my theory. Basically, I think I talked about it early on. I won't recap the whole thing. Pretty much, I think what they were looking for was you to overlook the fact of lack of benefits for better earning rates. And that's where I think they were going with that. I did talk about it relatively early on in the live stream. I won't rehash it just because it's, Let's see. But thanks for popping in, Shamrock. I do appreciate it, man. Let's see. Daniel R. Let's see. Chase rejected my application about 2 months ago, yet I called me today wanting to talk about my recent inquiry. Any ideas? I find that really weird, Daniel. I do, that they wanted to talk to you about, like, I've never had Chase call me before about my recent inquiry that was 2 months old. I'd be that sounds a little weird to me, personally. So, um, I've never. Someone let me know in the comments if you've ever had Chase call you about a recent inquiry, because I personally have never had that happen, and I've applied for plenty of Chase cards and had them had been rejected before. So, Daniel, you also live in the Bangor area, Daniel. That's pretty awesome. Let me know in the comments where you're located at, because like I live right outside of Bangor, so not many of us live in this area, especially ones who watch the channel. So thank you very much. Let's see. What's up, unofficial bucket list? How you doing? Also, I think I saw you had like close to 500 subscribers now. Congratulations on the milestone. Keep up that good work. Let's see. Evan says, I'm planning on getting the Premier. What's the best card to downgrade to in year 2 without losing your thank you points? So you can downgrade those cards. Number one, I would call for retention offer. Citi's been pretty good to me in the past with retention offers on offering that. But if you downgrade it to either the Reward Plus or the Double Cash, you're only gonna have access to JetBlue. So you have to have the Premier or the Prestige to utilize all of their partners. Let's see. I don't like the peak pricing changes Casey says for Marriott. Yeah, I don't think so either. And then it looks like they moved hotels into different categories without any notice. It just seems to be still like the dumpster fire of Marriott is still going on. Let's see. I just got. Let's see a few other ones here. Yeah. All right. Sorry, just going down this here. All right. So Travel Clicking Sport David will be going live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So be sure to check his live stream out. He does great stuff. And he answers your question in real time too, which is, if David can let you know, sometimes it's hard to answer these in real time because you're on the fly. Like when you do an actual video, you get to kind of have multiple takes. If you ever saw my outtakes, you'd realize how long sometimes those take me to shoot. Let's see. Unofficial bucket. I'm not big on Cashback. That's not a bad. Cashback is great for some people. It's not good for others. Like it just all depends on what you want. John says hello from Ireland. John, thank you for tuning in from Ireland. What are you doing over in Ireland? Traveling for fun? Business? What's going on? Let us know. Bring our own baby seat. I don't know what that. Let's get a humidifier. This your pharmacist. Yes, I know that, Icarus. I just haven't done it yet. You're right. I probably need to get some sort of humidifier down here because it's just a little stuffy. Let's see. I'm also coming up to year 2 on my Chase Sapphire. Evan says I'm coming up to year 2 on my Chase Sapphire Preferred. Planning on downgrading to a second Freedom. If I end up needing a Sapphire card, can I upgrade it and say that 6 months later? I don't think that's a problem, Evan. I know in the past I upgraded my card back up to a Preferred only a handful of months later because I needed to make a redemption that I didn't think I was going to need to make. So I haven't seen anything where it's been an issue to do that. If you've tried to upgrade within less than a year, let us know. But typically Chase is really good about letting you maneuver through cards that are going to be better for you. Let's see. David says, will Citi allow me to put, let's see. Where is it? Man, I wish YouTube would fix that. Will Citi let me put business spend on my Double Cash card? David, Citi's been pretty friendly across the board, I think, in doing that. I think it depends on what's your velocity and spending on it, or if you're cycling through your limit, that might draw flags to you. But I don't think if you're just doing, day-to-day purchases, they're going to have any issues with that. I mean, I think plenty of people, myself included, put business expenses on personal cards. It's never an issue. I put personal expenses on business cards. It's never been an issue for me as well. What's up, Flashpoint? How you doing, man? Flashpoint, let us know what your American Express hack is. Someone made a comment about it earlier. I've never heard what your comment is on it, so let us know down below so we can take a look at that. Thanks, man. Let's see. We bought our baby car. We brought our baby car seat all over the world. I just haven't needed it yet. I know I'm gonna need to do it at some point. We've just been so fortunate that Owen is willing to sleep in his stroller and travels really well in the metro and has no issues. but I know I'm going to need to bring it in the near future as well. So let's see. Hey, if you're liking this, consider hitting that thumbs up button. I know I keep asking. You know, it just helps out the channel, brings more people in here. 61 of you watching. That's pretty awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Thanks. We actually find it harder to travel domestically than international because of the car seat for issue. For Hawaii, I think it's just going to be checking our car seat at the gate and rent a car. Terrence, I think that's a great way to do it. Check it in. It's easy. I mean, we bought a travel crib for Owen, and it's been pretty easy. I mean, it basically folds up like it's a backpack on you, and it folds out really well. It's only like 12 or 13 pounds. It's super awesome. I know that whole, I don't know if there's a lot of family travelers in that would like a review of it, but like we've taken it on, it travels really well. We're taking it with us again on this trip. I think it's the Guava family. It's really awesome. It's super small, super light. You can even pack some stuff in there. They gate check it for you. It's awesome. Let's see. Papa Top Dude, love the name. Best card for building credit. Everything seems high interest. Papa Top Dude, I think what you're looking to do, are you looking to transfer a balance? Because if you're going to rebuild it, you want to keep that utilization low. That's one of the best things you can do for your credit. Keep that utilization low. If you are looking to get out of credit card debt and to transfer balances, there are a couple cards like the Citi Simplicity is a good one that has like 21 months of no interest. The Chase Slate as well. I have a video on it. I'll link it. Comment after the video, because if you comment in here, I can't necessarily bring it in. Or if someone has it, just feel free to drop the link in there of the I have like a top 6 or top 7, I think, or top 5 best balance transfer cards for you video. I'll put that in there. But you want to keep the utilization low, man. If you keep the utilization low, your credit score is gonna boost up. I like to deliver all your videos and comments. Thank you, Alberto. I appreciate that. You know, I definitely try to work on answering every comment. I read every comment and try to improve every video with delivery or content. I was watching some of my older videos actually the other day, and I was really soft-spoken compared to what I talk now, and I'm not sure if that's better or not. So, you know, I think I give more emphasis on things now when I talk as opposed to speaking really, really softly into the microphone. Let's see. Let's see. Terrence says, definitely like Brian picking on my man Dave. I'm at 21, 24 and still careful not to glamorize this hobby because I can see all the pitfalls. Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people get caught up in it. You know, when you have blogs, you know, big blogs out there pumping credit cards, the points guy, left and right, you know, and not necessarily, and people looked at these points, and one thing I might agree with is that some people will be willing to overspend for points. You know, I'll spend more money at the store because I'll earn 6 points per dollar. I personally don't do it, but I've seen people do that in the sense of earning extra points, and it's not worth it. Like, your points are worth pennies at the most. Like, they're worth pennies. Like, dollars are worth more than pennies to keep them in your account. But, you know, he's got pros and cons, you know. Dave Ramsey. Do I agree with everything? No, but for certain people, like I think I'm in the Choose 5 Facebook group, and like you see people who follow his stuff and get themselves in a good financial situation. So it's really hard to argue with what he says 100%, while I don't agree with him 100%. Let's see. Someone said this. Papa Top Dude, thank you so much for the super sticker. I think they can just sticker chat super. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. Where did that? Man, this is killing me, YouTube. You're killing me here. All right. I really like Chase because they have United Airlines. Unofficial bucket list. United is great in the sense that they don't pass on fuel surcharges. I'm a little concerned on what it's going to be like after November when they go dynamic. If you've already looked at their word chart, the prices are already all over the place. So I am a little concerned with that. If you're someone who likes United, though, you can definitely utilize charts like Avianca. You know, ANA has been pretty good as well for certain situations. You know, Singapore Airlines could even be pretty well depending on what you're flying here in the States. Aeroplan is fantastic. I think that's an underutilized program, especially for domestic travel, because you can still get a domestic stopover, which 2 places for the price of one for 25,000 points round trip or as a whole is fantastic. And you can't use the excursionist perk domestically. I guess you could use it in Hawaii, but like in the United States, you can't use it. So United's great, but for domestic travel, if you're going to be flying United, Aeroplan might be better if you're going to travel from multiple places. And depending on where you're traveling in the US, Avianca could be better because they split it up into different zones, and you can be paying fewer miles than using United. So United's great because they don't pass on fuel surcharges internationally, but neither does Avianca. And some of the other partners as well won't, depending on what partner you're using. So let's see. Alberto says, wouldn't a high cashback card for 4 to 6% still come out better than any point card, even by using the portals? Individually, Alberto, I think you could say yes in doing some of those. But the reason why I think it gets more complicated is when you have a card, we'll say like the Chase Freedom, when you're changing it over to the reserve, then basically you're redeeming it 1.5 cents per point, but that 5% category or 5x is really 7.5%. And when you have a card like the Citi Double Cash, or we'll even say the rewards plus, where you're earning 10 points if you're making small purchases, it rounds up to 10 points. Redeeming that through the portal at 1.25 cents per point, you're getting a better value there, even though it's at 1.25 cents or 1.5 cents per point, depending on what card you have in the system you're in. If you're looking at just like a straight cash back value, like if your reserve is 3 points per dollar, yeah, 4.5% back when you take into account the annual fee, yeah, you're probably doing better. But when you start adding in cards to the ecosystem, that's really starts to cloud up that potential. Because 7.5% back through a portal is great. You use Hyatt, where I value them at like 2 cents per point. You're really getting, what 10% back, with your Freedom card or like a Chase Ink card. So it just depends on how you utilize those points and what cards you have in the ecosystem. 1-to-1, one ultimate reward point, I would take a 2% cash back card over one ultimate reward point. Let's see. Night Shift says, I don't have any premium cards yet. I'm new to the travel game, but I'm seriously looking at the Altitude Reserve. I do bank with them. What are your thoughts so far that you've had this card? I think I'm the biggest US Bank fanboy, Altitude Reserve fanboy out there. But with that said, I've had great use with it. I have a Samsung phone. I have the 10e. Samsung Pay works great for me, and I use it pretty much everywhere I go. That being said, the card isn't perfect. If you're looking for benefits, it's not the best on the benefit side as far as like lounge access. I like the real-time mobile rewards because for the airlines I use, it works for me. I'm not a fan of the fact like I'd have all my points in my account to use real-time mobile rewards. But if you're new to the game, even with the fact the Altitude Reserve is probably my favorite card in my wallet at this moment, I would still look to open up like a Chase card and get your Chase rotation, because ultimate reward points are very valuable. And I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice by jumping through the gun on some of these cards to jump into it. But I love the Altitude Reserve. It's my favorite card in my wallet. I'm coming up to, I think I'm like a month 9 with it. So I'm going to do like a 1-year review on it when I hit the 1-year mark, kind of review like my earnings, and I'll call for a retention offer. But I still think if anyone starting the game, while Chase might not be the best for some people, their bonuses are huge, even if you cash them out. And I know that's like a dirty thing to say to people. You're earning hundreds of dollars for those bonuses. So I would look at that. I would look at those there. Frank says, yeah, it sounds like a scam. Somebody for Chase wouldn't call. Yeah, I agree, man. Daniel, that just sounds off to me, man. I hope if they called, you didn't give them any information, because it just sounds super off to me. Let's see. How did I like Scotland? I thought Scotland was great. I thought the people there were some of the friendliest people. Unofficial bucket list asked how did I like Scotland. I think they are some of the friendliest people I think I've ever met. Everywhere we went, people were opening doors. When we were walking in the street with our son in the stroller, if someone was smoking a cigarette, they held it off to the side and turned away so he wasn't breathing it in. So like, it's super nice. The food was really good. I did try haggis. I know I actually sent it to my dad, and he said that's disgusting. If you don't know what haggis is, it's basically the lungs, heart, and stomach. I think it's the stomach of, was it the sheep? and like mixed into a ball. It was deep fried, or fried. This one was fried. It wasn't bad. If you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't. I don't think you would really have an idea. I thought it was really good. Super great landscape and the beautiful scenery. We went up to, what was it called, Arthur's Seat, and you could just overlook so much, and you could see castles. We were able to see probably like a good 100 kilometers just on the day we were up there. Super windy. It's a very windy place in general, but overall, Scotland was gorgeous. If I were to go back, I would love to go to northern Scotland, like to the northern part of the country, but totally worth going to. The metro was really great. The food was really good, and just a great experience. I would totally go there again. What's up, Cakeology? Thanks for showing up, man, for the first stream. I appreciate it very much. Let's see, Shamrocks. Ty, thank you for checking in from Houston. I appreciate it. How's the weather down in Houston, by the way? I'm sure it's today up in Bangor. It was like in the 60s. It feels like fall up here. It's pumpkin spice season. Let's see. Well, Shamrock says, I think Citi has great airline partners. My biggest complaint, and where Amex kills them, is the time it takes to transfer points. More than a couple hours is too long. I don't disagree. I know that sometimes the partners take a little bit longer to transfer out. We've seen that as well. So that is a negative, because if you can't put the ticket on hold, you're going to be waiting quite a while, and if you miss out on it, the audio is awful, Paul. Is anyone else having an issue with my audio? Let me know if you guys are having issues with the audio. If it sounds too bad, let me know. But you don't want to miss out on that. Kikology, the whole team is in the house. Yeah, we got a lot of people here, Kikology. It's super awesome. So this has been great. Let's see, someone call Sevi and Shufu and get all the greats will be here. Frank, I appreciate you thinking me into that crowd, man. Those two are super awesome. I don't know how they put out the content on the consistent basis they do. Super big channels, super awesome stuff. They're definitely really awesome to see, and this how they do their stuff. Let's see. I can put 40,000 of the month on the card. It'd be super sweet to pick up thank you points. Ooh, I think that would be hard unless you had a huge credit limit with them, David. Let's see. Let's see. This is way too long. Yeah, okay, I'll comment on that in a minute. But let's see. I think $40,000 a month. If your limit's low, you're going to draw flags to your Citi account with that. It might be best for a business card for you, in that sense, if you're going to do that. Let's see. Got to finish homework. Got to get up early. Thanks for my question. Thanks for stopping by, Evan. I appreciate it. I'm trying to decide. Let's see. I'm trying to decide to have my mom apply. What card have I applying for next? Let's see. Have my mom apply next. She's my wife, and your mom's your player 3. Okay. Try to complete the Marriott 100,000 or IHG's 125. Ooh, that is a good dilemma. Now, if you're looking for airline miles and you're looking for someone to get like Alaska miles or American airline miles, I would probably go with the Boundless, just because you can convert those over. IHG's 125,000 point offer is the highest we've seen this. So both are going to be good for the offers. I wouldn't necessarily go with Marriott, necessarily maybe for the hotel stays. I know some people in here like them, but if you're looking for airline miles, I would definitely go with the Boundless. Let's see. Let's see. Matthew says anything worth trying other than waiting a few months for U.S. bank denial for 6 months. It depends on what you're looking for. What's your next goal, Matthew? What cards do you have? Shoot that down there. Let's see. What's up? Man, all of you credit card tutors are going live around the same time. Hard to keep up with watching all of you at once. What you can do, Poophead, is, by the way, I love your name. I know I said that before. Open up multiple windows. You can watch us all at the same time. It has like basically like what Buffalo Wild Wings set up for YouTubers. Paul says this is way too long. I appreciate you stopping by, man. They're like, I think Poophead just said there are other people going live. Like, I appreciate you stopping by. I'm answering Q&A. Let's see. Taryn says, I wish I found out about this hobby pre-baby, the 10%. Yes, Terrence, I agree. The 10% infant cost for infants internationally is quite a pain in the rear end. There are programs like Virgin Atlantic, which will charge you 10% in miles, and even Aeroplan charges miles as opposed to cost. So those programs would potentially be better than others for utilizing for an infant. The sweet spot, I think, would be utilizing some of those. Or if you're looking to do domestic traveling, you can add them for no cost. So trying to find the partners. I think that's a video. I know Wise Flies is in Hawaii right now, but I think him and I are actually going to do a team up on a collab talking about that because he has a couple kids. I know he's been traveling quite extensively with his family, and he's super knowledgeable in it. So I think that's something I'm trying to work out with him for us to be able to talk about programs best for people with infants and families. So keep an eye out for that because that's going to be on the way at some point. Let's see. David Ramsey is a has-been. Not everyone agrees with him. He's helped people out. Not necessarily I agree with him either, David. Let's see. Wouldn't shock me if David Ramsey did the same thing we do, just lying about his audience. That would actually be pretty funny if that came to light, Shamrock. I'm not going to lie. Champ, what is going on? Thanks for stopping by, man. Doesn't matter that you're late. I appreciate it. You looking forward? Let's see. Edgar says he's coming from Miami. Edgar, thanks for tuning in from Miami, man. I appreciate it. I like Miami. It's nice weather down there. I'm looking to maybe come down there this wintertime because Maine sucks in the wintertime and Miami sounds way better. Alberta says, am I looking forward to the new green card? If that damn card would ever come out, I would definitely be looking for it. I feel like this has been the longest rumored refresh. They are just milking it with leaking it's getting made from recycled plastic. They're just slowly putting out there just drop the card already. I'm super excited for it. If the rumors are true and it's Amazon Prime with the $95 fee and it saves you money there, 4x on gas. I'm not even eligible for the bonus right now, but I would re-sign up for it just the fact to save money on my Amazon Prime account. So that is something I would definitely be doing. But I'm super excited for it. Just drop the card already at American Express. Let's see. Edgar says, love my videos. Thank you, Edgar. I appreciate you watching. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Let's see. In Houston, it's been 80s and 90s. 60s sound awesome. That would be pretty good. Paul needs speakers. Audio's fine here. Thank you all. Paul needs to stop complaining and leave. I've been getting better about ignoring people, or at least trying to. I try to just, I read everything, and I've been getting better about blocking certain people out. When you can't use the altitude reserve is 2% with mobile payments. What do you use? So with the 3x on mobile payments, depends on what card I have, Alberto, depends on where I'm at. If I can't use my altitude reserve, my current cards in my wallet, I have the Uber card for dining. I have the USA Limitless in my wallet right now for 2.5% cash back, which has been really good for me across the board. It's chip and pin. I love the card. I take it with me all over as well, just as my backup for basically the non-bonus spend that I can't use my altitude reserve at. What other cards do I have in there now? Those are the big ones. I have the Chase Freedom in there for gas right now as well. So it depends on what store I'm at and where I can get my rewards from it. But those are the big ones I use if I can't get my 3x on my altitude reserve, which has been very, very infrequent. The only time I've ever had real issues is at Lowe's with their super old point of sale machines. It's failed me, I think, 2 or 3 times there. But outside of that, it's only failed me a handful of times. And I get a ton of I do a lot of paying with my mobile wallet. So I have a really good return on the acceptance percentage. Let's see. Let's see. Can I get a chasing preferred? Andy's asking, can I get a chasing preferred with my name, as my company name? Yep. If you're using it as a sole proprietorship, what you're going to do is you're going to use first of all your social security number as your EIN, and you're going to put your name as the business. Don't put I made the mistake once where I put something down and they were like, that's not your actual business name, so you can't use that. So you have to update it and make that adjustment. So use your name. There's nothing wrong with that. One thing I tell people is don't lie about the income. Because the one thing you don't want to have to do is then request your financials and you don't have it to back it up. I've been approved with $0 in business income before. So definitely be honest about that. If you want to put that, you sell stuff on eBay, you made in your, Craigslist for cash, you made a couple $100, that's one thing, but don't say you made $10,000 when you made like $200. That's going to potentially draw flags to you. Could you get away with it? Sure. I just don't think it's worth the risk. Let's see. Love the channel. Let's see. Ron says, love the channel. The growth great perspective. Always enjoying your perspective. Thank you so much, Ron. I really appreciate that. There's so many of us in the space talking stuff. So like to have, I think I'm only a handful of people away too from like 4,000 subscribers. So like that to me is fantastic. Like I'd never thought I'd hit that many people. So like to me, that's super awesome that, all of you, first of all, are tuning in to watch this. And I'm closing in on 4,000 subs. Like that is super, so awesome. Let's see. CEO says success story: flying from JFK to Madrid economy plus an economy plus on Iberia, 5 free nights at Marriott, 4 nights and the 4th night free. That is awesome. I'm curious, how did you book that JFK to Madrid? Which points did you use? I'm always curious about that on that end there. But that is awesome. We went to Barcelona. Was it about 2 years ago? Madrid is on our list to go back and visit because they're a little bit different. One's Catalonia, one's in Spain. So we're excited to go back at some point and see Madrid. So that's awesome. You'll have to let me know how your trip is. So Alberto says, how many total open cards do you have? Between me and my wife, we currently have, I think, like 42, 43. I went on a closing spree a little while ago with some fee cards that we no longer use. I have I have a lot of cards with no annual fee I keep just to increase the age of my, history, which has been super fantastic. I don't worry about those types of numbers. I do keep tabs on all of them though, because I did freeze my credit as well, just because of the fact of all these breaches, and my credit card numbers get stolen at least a couple times a year. Let's see. It breaks my heart that you're a Samsung fan, team Apple champ. I was an Apple fan. I was an Apple user for years. I'm actually on a MacBook Pro right now because like computer-wise, like the MacBook, but like there's being able to like customize. Like you can't even get widgets on an Apple phone. Like there's just certain things I really like about Android that I can't get from Apple. Both phones are great. I've used both. I think both are pretty good. I think though, as a whole, I get a better experience from Android. Although I will say Apple does very well at what they do, which is one, marketing, and like the phones are good. And the 11 Pro looks good, but man, I'm gonna put money on that Pixel 4. I'm gonna put money on that Pixel 4 doing really well in the camera area. They've just always done really well. Let's see. Let's see. Did I get the Samsung 10X offer? So sorry, using Alberto says. Let's see. I think of this question. How to close mortgage app? Do you stop applying for new credit cards? So, Brian, when I did we've gone through a couple mortgages. We did have to stop applying for credit cards for doing that, and I did have to explain like 10 or 12 cards at one point. And pretty much, I just said I opened them for the credit card points. I was honest about it, and they didn't have any issues with that. They just told me no more cards till I closed on the mortgage. And the night I closed on the mortgage, I opened up like 4 new credit cards. So you should probably stop, just because the interest rate on your house is more important than a couple credit card points. Did I get the 10X offer? And if I'm using it on the Samsung Pay, I did get it, Alberto, but I've maxed out the 50 transactions or 55 transactions for the month because I used it so much over in the UK. So gotta wait till it resets on October 1st, but then I'll be getting a lot of use of it, especially while I'm over back in Europe. So I should have no problem probably maxing out the 10 point per dollar, 10 point per transaction, because I'll be another platinum level for the next month as well. So I'm looking excited to using that. If you could start your credit journey all over again, how would you redo it? That is a really good question. If I could restart my whole journey over, I don't think I misstepped necessarily on credit cards. I would have been handful of years ago. If you're talking today, I would definitely go with Chase again. Start with Chase after I had my Discover card to build up my credit, as well as a credit union card when I was like 16. Built those up, and then I would probably still go with Chase, and then I would probably look at American Express and utilize those and build up my point totals and just stash away on flexible currency. I'm very big on flexible currency as opposed to airline specific points, just because we're seeing these programs devalue and change their programs. And it's my big thing for someone. I would put more emphasis on flexible currency as opposed to airline specific. That's what I would do. Let's see. Should I cancel my Citi American Airline credit card? No, Alex, I would not cancel it. One thing Citi will let you do is they will let you product change to other family of cards to keep that account open. And if you're someone who's looking for something as well, the double cash is probably what I would convert it to. You shoot a message over to them. You could even, I think they're still letting you do the Citi dividend card, which is the 5% card. I haven't seen if that's, I think they're still letting you do that. But the double cash is good in the sense that 2x as well. So I would totally not just cancel it, I would convert that myself. Go Samsung, that's right. AA Metal on Iberia, awesome job. Andy says, I have 800,000 Chase points with the CSR, but scared to travel with a 3-year-old and a 5-month-old. Any recommendations for kid-friendly places? I think, Andy, that's tough because each kid is going to be different. Like our son travels pretty well. I can totally understand being worried about that. What I would say is, we went to Tampa with them in DC. DC is great because there's a lot of things to do that are free. You have some of the Smithsonian stuff that are like the aviation and whatnot is I think for kids. Florida was great because we could go to the beach and just the amusement parks there. But that might be something to do. I think that's kind of a good test run as well. Some of these smaller domestic trips. We're trying to gear up for an international because we were flying back from London. It was 7 hours, and our son cried for like 20, 30 minutes total, off and on, because he was just tired. That's a long time. So I would definitely try a short domestic trip somewhere on the beach, somewhere that some outside activities to get your kids running around and see how that could go. Museums we've realized might not always be the best, just because we like them, but kids get bored really easily. Let's see. Go Apple. Loving my iPhone 11 Pro. The 11 Pro looks awesome, David. There's no issues with that. I'm I'm excited to see what they do for future phones. I've been reading like the possible foldable iPhone, which Apple being Apple, it's gonna be like what, $4,000 for some technology that's already out there. Android has, but I think it'll be good. And the Pro cameras look really awesome. I think while people want to crown it, I would hold for a couple more weeks till the Pixel 4 comes out, because it seems Google software is top notch. So that's what I would do. Ty says, been subscribed to you ever since eBay to Amex video. Thanks to you, we've accumulated over 35,000 points. Look good last trip. Ty, that is awesome. That is why I do this. This is why these are the kind of things I like to hear. So that is awesome. Congratulations on that trip. Congratulations on utilizing one. Great point value as well. And I'm really happy that the video was able to help you as well. That means a lot to me. That's just really why I do it. Andy says, do you see Chase following the Citi's footsteps and canceling benefits on their card altogether? I could have, Andy, before American Express added them. But now that American Express has added them, if Chase doesn't keep them, it gives American Express an advantage. I still think Chase needs to do something with that reserve. It's kind of stagnant, but I definitely think they need to do something with it. But I don't see them canceling it anymore. If anything, I see Citi re-adding it here in like another year, because I think they're gonna see people not using necessarily their cards as much. Let's see. Lewis says, how you doing? Question. Amex Citi. I've been doing a lot of activity on these. Have been a lot of activity in point crimes. Chase is just watching the sidelines. Do you think Chase is going to respond? Louise, first of all, I'm doing great. How are you doing? That is a great question. I think Chase is sitting back and they're looking like right now when Citi reduced like their travel protection, Chase is like, this is great. We don't have to do anything. We're still number one. I do think they need to do something, because as we're seeing cards increase the non-bonus cards, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, Chase Ink Unlimited, and Reserve combination isn't as special as it used to be. And we're seeing cards offer 3, 4, 5 points per dollar on certain categories. I mean, the gold card is 4 points per dollar on dining and groceries, which is huge for people. And the Reserve, 3,000 more points is great, but it's not, if you know how to use your points, you can get better value out of membership reward points. I'm sure David will agree with me on that one. But like, it's just not as special anymore. It's just simplistic in how it's easy. It's just easy to use to their portal at, 1.5 points or 1.5 cents per point. But at some point, that's not going to hold anymore for people. So I do think that they need to respond in some fashion. I'm just not sure what it'll be. Let's see. Every time I look at the iPhone 11, I think, let's see. How would you book a flight to Japan using UR points? Looking to travel there next year with about 200,000 ultimate points. Hoophead, where are you based out of? I think that would really dictate to what you're looking to do. Is it a waste of points to use for domestic travel? When is it best to use points in cash? Alberto, I think that's a question a lot of people have. Is it a waste for domestic travel? Domestic travel, depending on what you're doing, I think it would come down to are you points rich, cash poor, or cash rich, or points, cash rich and cash rich, points poor, points rich, cash poor. So that there is really the conversation. Like, sure, you're not going to get like 7 cents per point value, which first of all is inflated for a lot of people when you book like a one-way to like international first class ticket. But you can get really good value if you can utilize some of the loopholes here. Like, it's not uncommon, like, for me to get like, anywhere from like 1.5, 2, or 3 cents per point on some of these domestic tickets by utilizing either Aeroplan or some of these short haul tickets like British Airways Avios or even Iberia Avios for short hauls to really boost it up compared to the price ticket. So it really depends on where you're traveling, what the ticket is. I don't think it's a waste because I'm always looking to travel for the least amount of money possible. And I always live with the idea you can always earn more points. And it's just best to compare, if you're getting super low values, if you're not getting at least, for domestic coach, I would say probably 1.3 to 1. Well, with the reserve combination, you should be getting no less than 1.5 cents per point. But if you don't have that, you want to be sure to get like the lowest I would say is like 1.3 to 1.4 for coach. I think that's would be pretty standard for a lot of airlines. But I would do the math. Any thoughts on LATAM leaving One World Airlines and parting with Delta? I don't think it's like, from what I was reading, I don't think it's like a true partnership. They just took a stake in it. I think it's really crappy on America. I hope American Airlines, if you're listening here, I think it's really crappy. You canceled all those people's flights who were code shared and just couldn't let them finish out their flights because the LATAM Air was leaving. I think it's good for Delta. I think we could see a lot of good opportunities coming later when there are those code shares opportunities. So I think that could be really good for people. I think it's more disappointing on how American Airlines handled those reservations. West Coast California, Poophead from West Coast. If you're looking to fly Japan Airlines or flying to Japan Airlines or flying to Japan, one, you could look at Virgin Atlantic. From the West Coast, it's 90,000 round trip in business class and 110,000 Virgin Atlantic points flying on ANA first class. You also have British Airways, which could be a decent option with transfer bonuses. Flying Blue is a partner, non-alliance partner with Japan Airlines as well. So I would look at those, especially when you can take advantage of a transfer bonus from one of the airlines over. That could be a really good option for you and something to consider. How's your conversation with your wife switching career and plunging into this arena? My wife has always been super supportive, Terrence, of me doing this. And like, we knew at some point I really wasn't happy in pharmacy anymore. And this is really what I wanted to do. So she's been supportive. Like, I think when we said it was time, like, it wasn't even a question. My wife has been super supportive of me pursuing this avenue and like this dream of, being a YouTube creator and helping people travel. Just the passion's there. She can see my passion for it here, and to be able to potentially, make an income on it and do stuff with it, it's been pretty awesome. So she's been supportive 110% of the way. Do you add your spells to an authorized user, or is it best to have separate cards? Alberto, with the Chase 524 rule, I know Chase doesn't necessarily count them against you. I don't add her as an authorized user on pretty much any account, and vice versa. We did early on add it to American Express, so we didn't have that wait period anymore. And Chase to transfer points as well early on before the 524 rule. But unless there's a reason to do that, as far as maybe getting extra benefits or combined points, I don't add authorized users just for the reason of it's less phone calls when I need to apply for a card for Chase's 524 rule. When I eventually maybe fall under 524, I think I've been pretty low key for a while and opening a handful of cards, although Avianca did bump me back up. So it might be like another year if I don't apply for a card, but we'll see. I have enough points to travel on for the next year and a half. So depending on how I want to travel. So I just sit back and wait for the big bonus to come my way. Let's see. Sean says, I'm wondering if it's better to downgrade for the blue business class, the blue cash preferred, and upgrade the Amex everyday preferred, even though I have the Amex Gold. I think that's a wash there, Sean. Unless the everyday preferred is a great single card if you can make those transactions, like the 30 transactions per month. With the gold card, sure, if you get 4 points per dollar at dining in groceries, but you can earn 4.5 unless you're a big spender at the grocery store. 4.5 points per dollar at the preferred is great if you're getting that 30 transactions per month. And 3 points per dollar on gas is great, but is it worth it if with that card? I think that's a lot of annual fee for potentially not as much benefit. Definitely run the numbers for yourself, but there's quite a bit of overlap there, especially in the grocery category, to where it might not be worth it for you. Let's see. This is my first credit card chat. Let's see. Love the chat. It's better than expected world of my time. Thank you, Alberto. I appreciate the kind words there. I try to make them as enjoyable as possible and try to do like quick topic beforehand and answer some Q&A. So it's been pretty awesome. And there's 70 of you guys in here now, which is super awesome. So I appreciate that. I think I said earlier, I'm really close to 4,000 subs. Actually I haven't checked it. What am I at now? I can check it while I answer questions. So I'm pretty excited about that, because 4,000, would never have thought about that a year ago, or even when I started this. So thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Champ says, I'm 8 away from 4,000. Champ says, what co-branded airline credit cards do you keep long-term for benefits, check bag, priority, boarding, everything? So currently I hold the Delta Gold, and that is the only co-branded credit card I've paid the annual fee on, because we occasionally will check a bag back from certain locations, but never on the way out, because I'm always afraid they're gonna lose my bag. Priority boarding now no longer applies to me. Fun fact, having a kid gets you best priority boarding over board zone 1 that Delta would ever give me. Eventually, but as far as what we fly, we typically do fly Delta. In all seriousness, we typically fly Delta, and for me, it's giving me good value. I don't know if I'm seeing the benefit in it anymore, since we don't typically check bags, and priority boarding we get with our son anyways. So it might not make it after this year. And what I would end up doing there is I would probably end up canceling it, waiting for a no lifetime language offer to come back up, which seems to happen pretty often, and open it up again. But it might not make it past this year. I've already paid it on this year. I'll see about it. But the benefits of it, I just don't think are worth it for me anymore, at least while my son is still getting his boarding before everyone else. Let's see. Let's see. Honestly, I think Poopet says, I think Chase should revamp the Chase app preferred to compete with the Gold. Adding groceries would make it enough to keep, in my opinion. I agree, Poopet. I think what Chase is doing is they're too similar, the reserve and the preferred. They don't complement each other very well. And what American Express does, you got to give American Express credit here. They diverse their cards so much that people are willing to pay the annual fees on multiple cards to keep them. There's really no benefit to keeping the preferred and the reserve. Zero. The bonuses might be it, but that's about it. There's just no other benefit. So they need to update. Think they really need to refresh to complement it. People would be willing to pay an annual fee if you made it a complement card to the reserve to really compete with the gold and the platinum card. That's where I think they go. I agree with you on that 100%. West Coast is 120,000 points round trip, 110 for Houston, Chicago. I thought it was 120 from the East Coast, Terrence, not the West Coast. I thought it was 110 as well from LA. Maybe I'm wrong there. Let me know though. How much do I pay in combined annual fees a year? I think I pay $400 for the altitude reserve. My Aspire card is still only $95. I'm gonna keep it as long as that's the case. I know it's $450 on the website, but when I upgraded for my Surpass or Aspire, the Ascend card at the time, it's still $95. I have 4 hotel cards. I probably pay $800 a year in annual fees, most of which are hotel credit cards, which we get the free night benefit or the free night benefit for. But outside of that, the reserve, I pay for travel anyways, for certain stuff. So like for me, it's, net $75 after, because I just shift my spend around. But it's still $400 I pay for it. So I would say about $800. That's probably where I'm at on it. And some of those like cards will probably end up getting canceled out. The Delta Gold will probably be out of there. So it'll probably be like between $600 and $700 next year. Let's see. Let's see. I got a Chase offer for $35 when paying twice at AT&T. Amex offer works on non-business account pay through. That's really good, Icarus. I think I've heard that data point before. Icarus is saying if you have the Amex offer or Chase offer for AT&T, it will trigger it on personal accounts as well, which is a really good opportunity to earn quite a bit of points and save yourself some money on your bill. Thoughts on melatonin for jet lag for a baby? I would not use melatonin for a baby, Terrence. And for jet lag, it would potentially help reset your sleep cycle. I've never used it for that. I typically try to either stay super exhausted or, to go to sleep early to try to reset myself. As an entertainer, as an entertainer, not professional. I wouldn't do it. Definitely not do it for the baby. If you're really gonna do it for yourself, maybe. Let's see. So, but yeah, not for you. I wouldn't do it for the baby. If you want to do it for yourself, maybe a couple nights, but that not worth. I don't think it's worth it though. Alberto, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being a subscriber for life. I appreciate it. Enjoy your night. Thank you so much. I'm going to be going here in a few minutes as well, but I'll wrap up a few more that's here. Shamrock says, are there any Sandy partners that you know of One World that can be booked outline besides Qantas? It depends on what you're looking for. But Asia Miles, you can do certain airlines online. If you're looking for American, you will need to call them to do that, Shamrock. But that would be it. Domestic, yeah, if you're looking for American, you're going to need to call them on them. Etihad, you would still need to call as well. You're going to have to call for the domestic ones outside of Qantas. So that's what you're going to need to do there. I don't blame you. It can be difficult, especially some of the reps aren't the most knowledgeable. But it looks to be like all the questions. So, hey, if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you know somebody might benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. Also, let me know what you think of the move by American Express and Citi. And if you like learning about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, or just flat out traveling for less, hit that subscribe button down below. And as always, safe travels. Take care, everyone. The new video, next video will come out Tuesday. The one today just dropped earlier today. So thank you very much for all stopping by. Thanks, David, for stopping by. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate all of you stopping by. All of you, take care. Have a great night, everyone.